The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the quiet suburban neighborhood. The streets were lined with neatly trimmed hedges and picket fences, the kind of place where children rode their bikes until dusk, and neighbors exchanged pleasantries over garden gates. But today, the tranquility was shattered by an unexpected commotion. Officer Daniel Harris had been patrolling the area when he noticed a scruffy dog darting across the road. It was a medium-sized mutt, its fur matted and dirty, clearly a stray. The dog's eyes were wild, and it moved with a frantic energy, as if it were searching for something, or running from something. Daniel sighed. He wasn't particularly fond of animals, especially strays. They were unpredictable, and in his line of work, unpredictability often led to trouble. As he stepped out of his patrol car, the dog turned its gaze toward him. Its ears flattened, and a low growl rumbled from its throat. Daniel raised his hands in a placating gesture, but the dog didn't seem interested in peace. It lunged at him, barking ferociously. Instinctively, Daniel reached for his belt and pulled out his pepper spray. He aimed and fired, the spray hitting the dog square in the face. The animal yelped in pain, retreating a few steps before collapsing to the ground, whimpering. For a moment, Daniel felt a pang of guilt. He hadn't wanted to hurt the dog, but he couldn't risk it attacking him or someone else. He knelt down, intending to check on the animal, when he heard a voice behind him. "What did you do to my dog?" Daniel turned to see a woman standing a few feet away. She was tall and slender, with sharp features and piercing green eyes that burned with anger. Her hair was pulled back into a tight ponytail, and she wore a simple white blouse and jeans. But what caught Daniel's attention was the way she carried herself, with an air of authority that made him feel like he was the one who had done something wrong. "Ma'am, this dog was acting aggressively," Daniel began, but the woman cut him off. "Aggressively? He's scared and confused. He's been through enough already, and now you've made it worse." She knelt beside the dog, gently stroking its head and murmuring soothing words. The dog, despite its obvious discomfort, nuzzled into her hand, its tail giving a feeble wag. Daniel felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He hadn't expected this. "I'm sorry, Mum. I didn't know he belonged to anyone. He looked like a stray." The woman's eyes flashed with anger. "He's not a stray. He's my dog. His name is Max, and he's been through hell. We both have." She stood up, her gaze never leaving Daniel's. "You have no idea what we've been through, and now you've added to it." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "Look, I'm really sorry. If there's anything I can do to make it right." The woman hesitated, her anger giving way to something else. Something softer, more vulnerable. Just help me get him home. He needs to be cleaned up, and I can't carry him by myself." Daniel nodded, relieved to have a chance to make amends. Together they carefully lifted Max and carried him to the woman's house, a modest bungalow at the end of the street. Inside, the home was warm and inviting, filled with the scent of lavender and the soft hum of a radio playing in the background. The woman led them to the bathroom, where she began to gently wash Max's face, removing the residue of the pepper spray. As she worked, Daniel couldn't help but notice the photos on the walls. They were of the woman and Max, but also of a man who looked strikingly similar to Daniel himself. The man was in uniform, a soldier, and in every photo he was smiling, his arm around the woman, or playing with Max. "Your husband?" Daniel asked, nodding toward the photos. The woman's hands stilled for a moment before she continued washing Max. "Yes, he was deployed overseas. He didn't make it back." Her voice was steady, but there was a sadness in her eyes that spoke volumes. Daniel felt a lump form in his throat. "I'm sorry for your loss." She nodded, her focus still on Max. "Thank you. Max was his dog, you know. They were inseparable. When he didn't come back, Max was all I had left of him. He's been my rock, my comfort. And today, when I saw you..." She trailed off, her voice breaking. Daniel felt a wave of shame wash over him. He had been so quick to judge, so quick to act, without considering the possibility that there was more to the story. "I had no idea," he said quietly. "I'm so sorry." The woman looked up at him, her eyes filled with tears. "It's okay. You didn't know. But please just be more careful next time. Not every stray is what they seem." Daniel nodded, his heart heavy with regret. He stayed for a while, helping her clean up Max and making sure the dog was comfortable. Before he left, he gave her his card and told her to call if she ever needed anything. As he walked back to his patrol car, Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that he had been given a second chance, not just to make things right with Max and his owner, but to be a better person, a better officer. He vowed to be more mindful, to look beyond the surface and see the stories behind the faces he encountered. And as he drove away, he couldn't help but think that maybe, just maybe, Max had been more than just a scared dog. Maybe he had been a reminder that everyone, human or animal, has a story, and that sometimes the best thing we can do is listen.